Hello all and welcome to another Saturday with Tinkering Diamond, and today I'm going to take a look at the new QEMU support for Quadra 800 emulation. I already have installed System 7.5.3. System 7.5.0. I'm going to update it to 7.5.3 and then 7.5.5 and try MacMINIX, MacMINT and MachTen, free operating systems that run as slaves for System 7 and are traditionally impossible to emulate. Now let's see if the new support for QEMU handles them. So let's start QEMU now. It certainly looks like this new support is blazing fast, so also one of the things I'm going to do after updating to 7.5.5 is try with some benchmarks. I'm going to select all items from the update. And one item I'm going to specifically disable is A/rows. Traditionally, this component has always crashed all emulators because it's basically for a certain Nobus. I think it was a network card or video card. Well, the thing is that this Navas card on real computer is a whole computer on itself. So this extension tries to load an operating system inside that computer, inside that expansion card, and traditionally on emulators it just crashes. So just to prevent it, I'm not going to install it altogether. It's useless on an emulation because we don't have that card emulated at all. We can see that it's going fast. The host computer I'm using is a Ryzen 7 5800HS. Now it wants to restart. There are some problems on the sound emulation that it has hanging notes. So that's a reason why I'm not going to try any game, because it will just keep hanging notes one after the other and it will sound horrendous. Indeed, I'm going to lower down the volume so when it restarts and does the ping, it's not so obnoxious. Complaining about all extensions, catalog and mailbox. I'm going to throw them to the trash in a moment. And now it gets the CD-ROM. So the CD-ROM that has the updates and so on, it was here before. It was mounted, but 7.5.0 didn't recognize it. I'm not sure why. We can see now that 7.5.3 does. So here we look at about this Macintosh. We can see that it's 7.5.3 with the revision 2 update. So now let's just throw away those two extensions. On the system folder they were catalog extension and book extensions. Where are the extensions now? Here. Catalog extension, and the other one was book or mail extension, something about mail. I'm going to order by a name so we can find it better. Here, mailbox extension. So these two to the trash. So when we restart, it works okay. I can see where did I put the 7.5.5 update. I think I forgot to copy it to the CD. So give me a second and I'm going to get it into the CD. Should be here. Let's see by name. Oh, here they are. Okay, now let's save a copy of this virtual machine. And let's start with the update to 7.5.5. You can see, yes, it's going just fast. Now here 7.5.5. Let's extract on the desktop. See, now the hanging node just stayed there. I'm going to silence it. Now the second disk of the update. On the desktop again. And the third disk of the update. No, there are these images, and it right now I only have this copy 4.2 installed, so that requires to write to real floppy, and right now QEMU doesn't emulate the floppy drive at all, only CD and hard disks. So I'm going to install this copy 6. That way I can mount these images and install the update.
No he encontrado
Now, come on, mount. Grid, yeah, it's mounting now. The updates. Now I'm going to just install the update. You can see it's all going very fast, much faster than any real Macintosh I ever seen, any real Motorola based Macintosh. Optimizing system for speed like it was not optimized before. I'm really surprised by how fast it is. I mean, I know TCG, I've worked in development on QEMU years ago, but still I'm surprised how fast it is. There's not like the only JIT that exists. Basilisk 2 also uses a JIT, and it's not that fast. And if I'm not wrong, WinUI also uses a JIT, and it doesn't feel as fast as right now this. So if QEMU gets Amiga emulation or Atari ST emulation, that would be amazing. And I think BVR, that's the main force behind the emulation of the Quadra 800 on QEMU, will also be interested on emulating Atari ST. So just think about an Atari ST emulation here. Probably maybe we can also see next step. I work in mentoring one developer to try to put the next step operating system natively, I mean emulating a next computer on QEMU, so I don't think it's something that very far away. Maybe in a few years, in a handful of years, we can get QEMU emulating a next computer, an Atari computer, or even an Amiga computer. It all depends on the interest on developers. But I think that considering how fast the CPU emulation is something interesting to do. Now here we can see that it's already updated to 7.5.5. So right now I'm going to throw away all this to the trash and empty it. It's not needed anymore. I have access to the CD as a CD. I don't need a copy on the desktop. I'm going to make a backup of the virtual machine. And we can continue testing something else. So I think the first interesting thing, as we were speaking about the speed, is just do a benchmark and see how it compares with the database those benchmarks usually have about real Macintosh computers. So one thing I'm going to install is Aladdin Expander because I will need it for everything else. I think version 5.5 should work well enough. Now that we have it, let's just uncompress the benchmarks. So here we have MacBench 5. I don't know if it's compatible with 68 key Macintosh computers. So let's just try it. If not, the installer will tell us to go away. I require 7.6 and yeah, we're on 7.5. So yeah, no, forget about it. Here I have MacBench 4 that may work. So save here. Yeah, there it is. And also here I have, this is too fast in Speedometer 4. So let's just extract it to the desktop as well. It comes in at this image. Someone stored here something using chip saver and Athlon 5000. That's funny. So I'm just going to make a folder copy of it. Let's copy it here. So I can unmount this image and don't have that taking memory. Put it here and this also to the trash. So let's try Speedometer first. Let's see if it doesn't crash or anything like that. No, I don't think that's your address anymore. So it detects we have an 68040 with FPU and MMU. The default physical memory is 120 megabytes. I think you can reduce it, but I don't think you can grow it. So let's run our tests. Wow, that was really fast. No, the disk is running on an SSD again, but using the QEMU copyright format. And well, it crashed. So Speedometer 4 is not running properly. Maybe because just the disk was too fast. So let's try again with benchmarking the disk. Say it's just too fast for what any developer would have expected there. So let's just run everything but the disk. How do I run everything but the disk? Okay, not disk here. No, mathematics was the problem. Well, let's try with a Speedometer 3 that I have here. I'm not sure if it's going to work properly. It comes as this image. Maybe this copy understands it. Okay, yeah, we have here a Speedometer 3. Well, it still doesn't work. It has some error. But if you could see it briefly, it said that the CPU was about 1000 times that of a Mac 2. Let's see if we can do it here. Just disable math. These benchmarks are not prepared to run such a huge amount of speed. Maybe also the floating point unit emulation is not perfect and it's just making it go crazy. It's difficult to emulate floating point because of the differences in precision and formats and so on. No, also crashes with only disk. Come on, give me some value. So disable math and disk and just give me graphics and CPU. Can you do that, please? Yeah, okay. So apparently the Quadra 600 here is counted as 1.0. So the CPU emulation is right now 100 times faster than the Quadra 600. And the Quadra 600 should be more or less like 80%, 70% of the speed of the Quadra 800. So yeah, we're almost 100 times faster than a real Quadra 800. Out the graphics, we're not so fast, only 3 times faster, almost 4 times faster, but still is huge. So if we look here and compare with that chip saver emulation on Athlon, we see we're much faster than the Power Macintosh emulation on Athlon using chip saver. So I'm just going to save the machine record. Okay, so new file and save QEMU. QEMU Macintosh Quadra 800. Okay, now let's see if MacBench is able to finish a complete set of tests. Okay, now let's run MacBench test. Is complaining that the CD is not inserted. Yeah, okay, don't care. Also that the resolution is only 800 by 600. This seems to be a limitation of QEMU right now. That you only can have 640 by 480 or 800 by 600 pixels of resolution. So let's see how long it takes to finish MacBench. And it also crashes. So seems that the CPU emulation still has some things to fix. That doesn't paint very good for trying to run Minix or something like that. That those are going to be probably more picky about the precise emulation. But well, let's try them. So let's start with MacMinix. Also, let me disable something that's going to be needed to be disabled later about line conversions to ensure there's no convert text files. Because MacMINT cannot be decompressed properly, that's enabled. So MacMINIX. Now, I really never tried this. I don't know how it's supposed to work. So I suppose that you do this and oh, well, we can see that MacMinix doesn't work. We got a kernel panic and it has just crashed completely the emulator. Oh no, I could return back. Well, that was it for MacMinix. I suppose it just doesn't. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I say the problem with this operating system is that they tended to use the Macintosh computer in ways that MacOS didn't, and if the emulation is not exact, they're just not going to work properly. So now let's try with MacMINT. Let's see if MacMINT has more luck, because there's nothing to show right now. How I'm supposed to launch this? So read me first. Launch MacMINT to execute. Yeah, okay. How do I launch MacMINT? Well, it seems to have loaded, I suppose. So what I'm supposed to do now, I don't know. Okay, bus error. Yeah. So ls works, but the moment I do uname, give a bus error. That's not. more also work. So since that parts of MacMINT are working, but not all of them. I'm checking the readme to see the installation instructions, but okay, sh setup minima, sh setup slash minima dot sh. Okay, so it says that it needs more files. Does anything work at all? Well, we have GCC, sorry. No nano, no pico, and we have B. Okay, well, yeah. So it seems quite useless. Why are you not working? Wow. This is a big document. Let's try something more polished. Let's try MachTen and see if we have more luck with MachTen. This is the latest version I found of MachTen, and maybe it's too new to work on the multi-computer Quadra 800 with system 7.5. We'll know for sure in a moment. Let's check the readme file and see what it says here. And yeah, it's a Power Macintosh application, so yeah, probably this is a too new version. Yeah, it's a Power PC version. I need an earlier version of MachTen. I'm trying to think about where I have it. I know I have it somewhere. No, it's difficult to download it. I cannot find it anywhere. The worst thing is I know I have it somewhere, like the physical CD. Yeah, I have it. I knew I have it. It's in my NAS right now. Let me get it. Okay, it's going to be just a minute. I found it. It's MachTen 2.3 and this should be compatible. Going to be a few seconds only. I'm going to power off the VM so I can copy it properly. Come on, come on, come on. What are you trying to initialize any this or what? Are you crazy? How are you doing? Stop. What? Okay, yes, we can crazy. It doesn't like the CD. Come on, it's the real MachTen 2.3 CD. What do you want from me? Oh yeah. No, I can't believe it. It's lacking the partition map. Why is it lacking the partition map? This makes no sense. Okay, I have an idea. Let's see if it solves it. Because it's complaining that it's not a real CD. It's missing the partition map, so it's not a proper CD dump. So I'm just going to put it inside the CD, and then let's see if this copy recognizes it and allows me to mount it. And this is something that may not happen as I expect. Because also another problem with Macintosh these images is that this copy 6 just stripped out the partition tables, the partition map, and everything. So when you made a CD image from using this copy 6, it stripped out the partition. And all the emulators didn't care because they didn't emulate a CD drive properly, but the CD, the real CD drive, needs the partition table. Otherwise, it just complains that it's not proper, it's not correct, and just give this stupid error and doesn't allow us to continue or do anything. So I'm just going to force quit the VM and pray that it boots again. It's crazy. Now let's see if my trick works and we can get it with this copy. I expected the compatibility to be better and have something to show. This is like, yeah, okay, no, MacMiNT works, but the download is not correct, and MachTen doesn't want to be mounted, and yeah, okay, so we're failing here. Yeah, it doesn't recognize it as this image. Excellent. Oh, this is crazy. See, this is the problem when you just dump things improperly that you think they work, and no, they don't. So now, what should I do now? I need to dig up an old emulator and try to copy the files and pray that they work after doing that stupidity? Or what? Because this is not non-recoverable right now. So this image is the garbage dump right now, as it is. Let me think what to do. Maybe if I try to mount it as a hard disk, it doesn't complain. Well, it's worth a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So let me try that crazy thing and just try to copy it and mount it as if it were a hard disk, and that's wrong. That's just wrong. I'm telling you. So if you want to preserve a disk from Macintosh, do it properly. So use a proper dumping software and not just this copy 6 on a Macintosh. The thing is that right now we have a huge amount of this image that just need to be redumped. And well, who's going to do it? Because the owners may have disappeared, the disk may be no more. This is a far long shot. This is crazy. If it works, it would be crazy. Yeah, it has not recognized it. It doesn't want to mount it. It's not a proper hard disk either. So what can I do about this? Yeah, I'm out of ideas. Unless I can find it anywhere, it's just not possible to. Let's see if somewhere here. Supposedly, Macintosh repository has it as an ISO. It's going to take a long time to download. I'm trying to record my password for the Macintosh repository so I can download the version that they have there because it's bigger than 100 megabytes. So okay, now let's see if I can log in here, download this, and we can try it. Oh, we got to download. Yeah. And its download is slow as hell, but well, this is the best we can do. So yeah. So for anyone that's watching me right now, that when I'm streaming, I don't see Discord, so don't message me on Discord. Just message me here on the Twitch chat and 8 minutes. So let's talk a little about MachTen. So that's what we're going to install right now. So MachTen was a operating system that designed on the Mach kernel, and the Mach kernel has a lot of history. And basically, it ran as a slave, as a window inside MacOS, inside classical MacOS. Why? I'm not sure, but people tended to like to do that a lot. Just use Macintosh and then randomly open a Unix-based system. So MachTen is in a sense the same as MacOS 10. Like really, you see what I'm doing here, right? So MachTen takes a Mach kernel, and because the Mach kernel is a microkernel, it needs some other components and takes them from 4.4 BSD. This is exactly the same as the Next Step operating system did. Next Step took the Mach kernel and mixed it with a 4.4 BSD, and that's the Next Step operating system. Next Step then became MacOS 10, what we know right now as MacOS 10. And MacOS 10 is like that. So it's funny that MachTen and MacOS 10 are on the same idea, but they're completely different products. I mean, they're made by different companies. And MachTen just run, as I said, as an slave of MacOS, of the classic MacOS, System 7, System 8, MacOS 9, etc. It's an interesting concept. I really never understand why people did it. But it's also fun because there were not many third-party operating systems for classical Macintosh. Most of them arrived by the time that the Macintosh was already old and forgotten. We have Linux, we have NetBSD, and yeah, we have Minix, Mint, and MachTen. And well, like Minix, Mint, and MachTen run as applications inside of MacOS. Linux and NetBSD use a bootloader because they thought that on the old Macintosh system that used the toolbox firmware, you could not run anything that was not MacOS because it was like hard coded to just load MacOS. So they load MacOS and then a bootloader, and their bootloader loads their kernel, the Linux kernel, the NetBSD kernel, or even Apple Unix kernel, as I showed a few days ago, and then forgets that MacOS is in memory and just takes over the memory and takes over MacOS and kills it. But the funny thing is that years later, a few years ago, so decades after the old Macintosh was released, someone took quite attention to the documentation and found that this is not true. You can really do it. You can really load something without loading MacOS. You can load anything you want on memory without loading MacOS. And they took decades to find this, to the point that even on Apple Unix makes this bootloader chaining thing, so it loads MacOS before loading a bootloader that loads Apple Unix instead of just directly loading Apple Unix. And it's crazy because, yeah, you could always do it. Just nobody knew, not even Apple. So, kind of fun. And let's see how is the download. Okay, it's half downloaded. So it's going to take about 5 minutes, 4 minutes. I would like to try games here, but as I say, they don't work properly. The sound doesn't work properly. Probably they're going to fix it. I mean, if it's hanging note, that's easy to fix. Relatively, it's easier to fix than just implement it from scratch. So, also, I don't know if I have MacTCP here or Open Transport. Yeah, it's MacTCP is here. Ethernet. Dynamically. Server. So I could put an IP address here and have Ethernet connection. Okay, after trying MachTen, I will try it if I don't crash it right now. After we try MachTen, I will see if I can connect to a network server. I will have a NetAtal server on my network, so but I don't know if this is going to be able to find it. Who knows? There's also no browser installed on System 7 by default. Anyway, the internet, like now with all the SSL and secure HTTP, doesn't work properly. One thing about emulation is that while we're emulating SCSI, the Apple HDSC setup on System 7 doesn't recognize it. But this is because the original SCSI hard disk from Apple, people think it's only about the model name and the manufacturer name on the drive, but it's not. The SCSI hard disk from Apple has a specific mode page that tells them, the same for the SCSI CDs, that tells them this is an Apple drive, so work with me. So let's verify something. Let's do something while it's just downloading. The download should finish soon in about 2 minutes. Well, the things of being live that something can fail, or everything can work, or nothing. One minute left. Come on, download. You are downloading. Come on, download. You are downloading. This chaos here in System 7 didn't have a concept of an applications folder, so you just install it wherever you wanted. And by default, the installers wanted the root of the volume, the Macintosh is the volume, and chaos ensued. I always created an applications folder, and later on, well, that's what Apple did. It created an applications folder on the installation of classic MacOS, up to the point that it even had, when you could coexist macOS 9 and macOS 10, it had an applications macOS 9 and applications folder without postfix, and that was the applications for macOS 10. Thankfully, we have evolved a lot since these days. But this is still very snappy and fast, and unfortunately the benchmarks didn't work. Yeah, something about the CPU emulation, I suppose. Okay, the download finish. Now let's see if we can get it to work, finally. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing bad can happen now. Let's disable this craziness of trying to mount. Come on, come on, come on. Usually I only have time until 8, but today I only have time until 6, and it's 10 to 6. I'm running out of time and I have not done anything, but I will not stop until I show you professional MachTen at least. So hold on, we're going to install it. It's a threat. Must read to use CD. Okay, I always obey what files tell me. Please read the license carefully before using the software. No, I'm not going to read this license. Neothid, Woofer server. I really don't know what's a Woofer server. I really never set up a Woofer server. I mean, I know what's the Woofer protocol, but okay, we'll leave it to another day. If you have any suggestions or what to do, just tell me on Discord, and I'll do it on next week or another week. But right now, let's concentrate, let's focus on installing MachTen, if you're okay with that. But any suggestion that you want me to try, as I will say, any suggestion of anything you want me to do on a Saturday with an emulator, with real hardware, or anything like that, no problem. Just drop me a message and I plan it, but I cannot just change the plan in the middle of a streaming. So now send me a DM and I will plan it for the next stream. Yeah, it works with 7.5.3 and we are on 7.5.5, but don't worry, if it doesn't work, I still have 7.5.3 saved and we can try on it. So install, simply drag the root to your hard disk. I cannot even select because it's read only. That's stupid. Why I cannot select on read only? Drag the system folder items to the respective locations in the system folder. Add man page, window, and any of the contributed applications. Install optional utilities in the utilities folder and restart your Macintosh. Okay, so root to root. That's a lot of files to copy. So sit tight there. So one thing of System 7 that you're going to discover now is that where you're copying. Stop. Period. You cannot do anything else. This is the thing I most love when I discover macOS 8, that I can do something else where it's copying. Right now it's just, okay, I'm copying a lot of files, and we're QEMU that's fast as hell using an SSD. If we were on real Macintosh, this copying professional MachTen to hard disk would be something, okay, I'm going to make a coffee, or better yet, I'm going to take the car and drive somewhere else to pick a coffee and be right back in about 3 hours, and we'll still be copying. So this, I think it was the biggest change, the best change of macOS 8 was to support multitasking on copying files. Now, system folder items, control panel. So this is to the system folder here, and should tell me, do you want to copy to control panels? Yes, I want. An extension, but the foreign file access extension is already installed. No, I don't want to replace foreign file access, it's already installed, so just copy NFS. Now what I'm supposed to do with this? Drag to MachTen root USR. So it seems that X11 is optional, but I'm just going to copy it, obviously. So where's the root here? So here's the root of MachTen. I cannot see. Okay, here, USR. Drag this here. Drag this. A lot of files to copy again. So after you take your coffee, now it's time to go and pick the dinner again in some place at 200 kilometers far away, and come back, and it will still be copying. As I said on my Macintosh video that my first emulator was Fusion, at first I also used System 7 and had to suffer this. But worse than that is that when I got my first physical Macintosh, that was a Macintosh LC, the maximum I could install was 7.5.5, and it was like just like that. So I just was copying files and leave it and go to another computer and just forget about what I was copying at all. Okay, X11 release 5 is installed, and I'm not going to install the developer release or the clean source. Now, man pages here as well, and this is, oh, this is faster. I was expecting it was going to be slower. So what I don't know if that's something interesting for the audio file system reverse engineering, if it MachTen creates fast file system, because right now it's putting everything on the Macintosh drive, but does it support its own file system, its own partition? Seems that Minix used something similar, but Minix didn't run properly. And MacMINT, well, MacMINT can run, but since that needs more preparation, needs more to be downloaded, so I will postpone it to a future stream as well. Contributed software. No, Bash is not included? Are you kidding me? Okay, I leave the contributed for software for a moment later. Let's see what else we have here. BB Edit. Yeah, BB Edit is a good application to have. So just copy it here. Okay, now let's restart. That's what the documentation say. Did we forgot any step? I don't think so. I like this loading screen because you saw everything that was loading in little icons below. So if it anything crashes, you knew what. And it crashed a lot. There was a lot of incompatibilities and problems. Okay, my Google Home is trying to become self-conscious again. Maybe you didn't hear. So it has run MachTen, but where are we? Where is MachTen? MachTen controls. Okay. No idea what are you talking about. It has its own networking and it doesn't have. Oh, interesting. It doesn't have DHCP. Let's run it. Oh no! It failed, but unimplemented trap. Why? Oh, well, this is it. An implemented trap. Huh. Let me think. An implemented trap means that some call made to the operating system is not found and then it just crashes. But it should not crash. Maybe it's only compatible with 7.5.3 and we're just asking too much from it. Let's try to install it on 7.5.3 then. No, come on. So, okay, so you see we're on 7.5.3 now. That's what the README says is the maximum here, including the latest 7.5.3. It's designed to run with 7.5.3. Maybe it doesn't with 7.5.5. So let's just copy it here and try it again. Again, let's go to another coffee. Come on, copy. Ironically, with this single tasked copy, it would have been great to have an estimation, right or wrong, because come on, it's 2021 and Windows copy estimations are still wrong, of how much time it will take to copy. Because we cannot do anything else, so maybe we could plan, okay, it says it's estimating half an hour, so I'm going to find something that takes half an hour to do. But yeah, no, you don't know, just, okay, this I'm going to take a lot. Sit and wait, and this is crazy. Thankfully here QEMU is fast. Really, whatever the problems are with the CPUs, is still faster than anything I've seen before. So now again, let's copy the system folder items, control panel, yep, extension, only NFS, yep. Maybe the problem is with foreign file. If it crashes again, I will copy foreign file access. Well, now see, the next time don't drink so much. I will need to compile a program for that. And as far as I know, it will crash. And I don't think the MMU is going to catch it, but it will still crash. It works with Apple Unix, so the MMU is certainly working. Maybe it's not the best MMU emulation, but I don't know. We have nothing to compare with. It's using the VM. What are you talking about, no? Oh. What? It's now. MachTen is using the virtual memory for sure. It cannot run without virtual memory. I'm going to take a long read of the readme just in case I missed something. After everything finished copying before restarting and trying to run MachTen. If I don't get this to work anyway, I'm waiting for a real Quadra computer to arrive that's on working condition, and we'll see how they look on a real Macintosh, because I'm really curious. I never tried them when I had my 68 key Macintosh. It would be very sad if all that time copying for nothing. Come on, please work. Don't make my viewers sad. Okay, let's check the readme. Let's see if there's anything here. New version addition to server client server software. Supplement ported application CD. If it works, there's another CD that would be interesting to check. And there's nothing here about whatever problems it can give. I'm going to disable the virtual memory, the MacOS virtual memory right now, just in case. So we have 32-bit addressing. This is a must. No run this, the disk cache there. And now if we check on MachTen controls, yeah, I need to restart first. So let's restart. There's the MachTen control panel. Okay, let's see here. Hostname, time zone, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Mexico. Where is Europe? There's no Europe. There's no London, no nothing here. What, are you crazy? This is a really incomplete time zone. Canada, Chile, Mexico. That's crazy. Okay, let's check memory here. Yes, obviously enable virtual memory. Maybe that's the cause of the crash, that the virtual memory is enabled. Or not. Let's straight now here. So MachTen and run. Come on. And it's working, come on. And it's working. It's working. Yeah, so the problem was that 7.5.5 was not compatible. It's working with 7.5.3. So what's the login here? Yeah. And your name, there's no your name? CC? Okay, there's CC. Nano? No nano. Pico? No pico. Oh, come on, I don't want to use B. Why do you do this to me? Where was malloc? There's no entry for malloc. So we have the man pages, but man pages are not as I expected. The include. I always forget what was the included for malloc. Amazing. So the included for malloc was stdio or string or malloc. I can't remember. Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. So let's see how can we do it. Where are we? Home root. Where? So root is here, and I'm to suppose that if I do touch 4.c, and if I come here, oh yes, so I can use a real editor. I can use bbedit to edit 4.c. Hello bbedit. Where? Here. 4.c. How do I change the... How do I change the default line feed? Can I open it or just going to... I don't know. Let's try. So let's include sdo.h include. Just include them all. Include malo.h int main. Yeah, so void as pointer. Void, not void. And then pointer equal malloc -1. And then printf. We survived Neothid. Come on, Neothid, why do you do this to software? Return 0. This is yeah, okay. Now let's go back to MachTen. No, Mac to Unix. There's no Mac to Unix. Oh, the line feeds are not right. So bbedit, how do you change the line feeds? What's this? No. What's this? Save Unix. Come on, save as Unix. Now we have it. And compile. No malloc.h. Okay, so there's no malloc.h. No problem. See my main pointer from Intel without cache. Okay. And we survive, that's it. So virtual memory is enabled. Mac-1 didn't work. It survived. So this is it. So MachTen is working. What can I try now? Yes, man works, B works, ls works. So B for .c. You can see here. Hello, I'm editing C on B, and I know how to exit from B. See, I can exit from B. I'm a magician. I'm a genius. There's a lot of files here. We have gzip, we have everything here. Do we have NewFS? Do we have fdisk? No. Nope. And certainly no. So how does it do the Unix permissions? Probably using a resource fork on the file. Mac 68 key, what's it? What's this? CC, okay. Oh yeah, I cannot write. There's not a completion here. Oh. What do we have here? CPU, PTE. So this is standard. Mac types, Mac files. This is interesting. I'm really interesting about that. So I'll explore this and see what can I do with it. I never had MachTen before. I cannot exit. Help! Help! I can exit B. I cannot exit SH. Yeah, let's keep here. So, well, MachTen works. Amazing. 4.3 BSD. However, what didn't work was MacMINIX. Or, well, MacMiNT did work. So this is an amazing step on emulation. And I say the emulation because, let me explain. We've always had something like Fusion, Basilisk, what are them, emulators.com, softmac, and so on. But what they did, and still do, even up to ShipSaver and their PowerPC emulation, is they patch MacOS. They're not emulating a Macintosh. Up to the point that they're not emulating the memory management unit, they're not emulating SCSI hardware, they just patch MacOS and the ROM. So as I said before, Macintosh uses Toolbox. Toolbox is like between 28 and 80% of the operating system of Macintosh. What you love from this is mostly just the interface. Unless newer version that you start loading more and more and more from this, and to the point that the whole ROM is on this on newer. But the thing is that this emulator just patched everything. So what wanted to phone SCSI, no, doesn't matter. There's no SCSI, forget about it. No, Sid did a great work with his Cockatrice emulator because he added the SCSI emulation to Basilisk. But there were really no emulation of the hardware. The firmware was not running completely. The operating system was patched, so the floppy driver was patched to find these images as floppies. There were other patches added. Basically, it was not an emulation, it was more like a virtualization with a different CPU, because you are patching the operating system to support being emulated, like Zen did, the Zen virtualizer did. However, QEMU, when they started supporting running MacOS on the PowerPC emulation, is a complete Macintosh. It has the complete device tree, the complete firmware, the complete graphics card, to the point that there's a work in progress ATI graphics card right now. The complete network card, hardware, SCSI controller, everything. So this is a huge step because this is the first real Macintosh emulation. It's not just patching the operating system. Even Showville, that emulates Apple Unix, is patching Apple Unix. This is running the real thing. It's running the whole Quadra firmware to run the whole operating system. And this is the first time MachTen has loaded on emulator because of this. And as far as I know, also the first time MacMINT worked. Because this is complete emulation of a Macintosh. It's a huge step forward. And I hope this kind of emulation, this is a real emulation, continues forward. Well, not the first, if I mean, MAME also works emulation, so that's not the first. MAME also does a real emulation, but it's incomplete. It doesn't, last time I checked, it doesn't go so far. and it's also more like concentrated on emulating a Macintosh Plus than a Macintosh Quadra. This is the third generation of Macintosh, to say it so, of the Motorola Macintosh computers. So this is huge. This is the first time we can have more operating systems loading than any time before. Now I'm curious, MacMINIX didn't work on 7.5.5. Maybe it works now on 7.5.3. The problem I worry is that it may have a problem with having MachTen loaded. So let's disable MachTen from the control panels here and try MacMINIX. Out of curiosity, as the last thing for today. So where are you? MachTen here. Let's just disable you and okay, restart. So I ensure that this is disabled. What? Since that what really runs MachTen is the first time you open it, but it stays running on the background. Okay, let's try MacMinix. So I need to install a Staffy expander here because we installed it on 7.5.5 and this is the previous 7.5.3. Yes, install. Leave me alone, install it here. Okay, yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming and where MacMinix. Okay, here, MacMinix. I find this slightly slower than 7.5.5. So as I was saying, just imagine this kind of detail for other architectures and emulators and this speed from QEMU in something like Atari ST. While they're very good Atari ST emulators that emulate all the hardware and games and everything like that, they only work with Atari operating system as well. So it's like they're incomplete or something like that. Maybe they don't emulate the MMU and later TT and Falcon don't emulate Falcon correctly. I know a guy that will be very interesting. If you can get QEMU to emulate a Falcon, he will pay pretty money for it. So if you think you're up to the task, I know the guy that may pay you for emulating Falcon on QEMU or a TT. Probably he prefers the TT for that of Atari Unix. If someone gets Atari Unix running on QEMU, pretty sure this guy will pay for it. Yeah, taking a little to go there. Come on. Even Staffy could do that multitasking and you can expand and decompress and still have multitask while Finder cannot do multitask on copying. Let's take a look at MachTen README while it's decompressing MacMinix. So mostly it's take your printed books and read your printed books, and these are the incompatibilities. Well, it's incompatible with a lot of things that are pretty used. So silver lining is very used. Radius wear is needed for radius wear for graphics from radius. They start turbo and radius rocket are the expansion, so you could expand your computer from a 6820 or 6830 to a 6840, and these control panels control that. Software FPU really don't use it. Use a real FPU. You use a MachTen, so not a problem here. But no information about failing with 7.5.5. So probably it's something that appeared with 7.5.5, not any extension or anything like that that was installed in 7.5.5 and on 7.5.3. Unix text Unix. And now I find this. This is interesting. Macintosh Unix 2 MachTen. I like it. It would be interesting to check the ported application, so on a future stream I will do it. No, it finished. I was looking for the static window. I was not here because it already finished. So here it is. MacMINIX folder. I don't think it's going to work. But, well. No. Kernel panic. Who knows why? Maybe the Quadra is too new for MacMINIX. Or not, I'm not sure. Well, that's been all for today. So I must go. Thanks for watching, and if you like it, please don't forget to follow me here on Twitch and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. So you will have the links in a minute on the end screen. And if you want me to add something to the next stream, I do streaming on Saturdays about retro things, emulation, consoles, video games, and sometimes I play also on stream video games on nights, at least on the Canary Islands night. So if you want something to be played, tested, tried, stream, don't hesitate to send me a message, and I will see if I can do it. And if you want to see more of this and you want to help me on computing preservation, I create ARU, Data Preservation Suite, a software of applications to preserve disks, compact disks, floppy disks, and so on. And subscribing to my Patreon will help very much with that mission, trying to preserve the computing history. So again, thanks for watching and see you in the next stream. Bye.